Most people think of walking as just walking, nothing special, just putting one foot in front of the other. But once you pass 50, every step you take carries a new kind of weight. It's no longer just about getting from point A to point B. It's about holding on to strength, balance, independence, and life itself. Let me tell you a quick story. There's a man named Henry. He's 67, lives in Ohio, and every morning for the last decade, he's walked around his block twice. Rain, snow, sunshine, he's out there. When people ask how he stays so agile, so steady, he just smiles and says, "I keep walking." But here's the twist. Henry isn't just walking. He's doing it right. He's intentional. He stretches a bit before he starts. He picks up his pace just enough to get his heart rate moving. And he mixes up his routes. Some days he includes a little hill. Other days he walks on the grass in the park. Those small choices, they make all the difference. You see, walking after 50 isn't just a habit, it's a strategy. Done right, it's one of the most powerful tools to prevent muscle loss, protect bone density, sharpen balance, and even boost brain health. But here's what most people miss. It's not just about the act of walking, it's about how you walk. If your walk is too slow, too stiff, or too cautious, your body starts to adapt in the wrong direction. Muscles weaken, joints stiffen, and before you know it, walking becomes harder, not easier. The sad truth? Many people believe this slow decline is inevitable with age, but it's not. It's optional. The good news is, small changes to the way you walk can keep your legs strong, your posture aligned, and your confidence high. So before we go any further, here's a little reminder I want you to keep in the back of your mind throughout this video. It's not your age that's the problem, it's your habits. Now let's dive into the first mistake most people over 60 make when they walk, and why it's quietly stealing their balance and strength every single day. Let's talk about the head-down habit and how it changes everything. Have you ever caught yourself walking with your head down, just watching the ground beneath your feet? Maybe you're checking for cracks in the sidewalk. Maybe you're lost in thought. Or maybe, like so many people, you've gotten into the habit of looking down without even realizing it. It seems harmless, but it's not. When you walk with your head tilted forward, it doesn't just affect your neck, it shifts your whole center of gravity. Your shoulders begin to slump, your spine rounds forward, and your legs, they're forced to work harder just to keep you upright. Over time, this small habit quietly wrecks your posture. Your back starts to ache, your steps feel less stable, your reaction time gets slower, and before you know it, you start feeling off balance, even when you're just walking across the room. I remember talking to a woman named Evelyn. She's 74 and one of the sweetest, most active women I've ever met. But a few months ago, she took a hard fall at the grocery store. She wasn't distracted. She wasn't moving too fast. She was just looking down and didn't see the tiny bump in the tile. That one fall shook her confidence. She told me, "I used to love walking. Now I feel scared every time I take a step." And that broke my heart because it didn't have to happen. The truth is, when you walk with your head down, your body can't respond to changes in terrain the way it should. You're less aware of your surroundings and your muscles are misaligned. It's like trying to balance a broomstick upside down. It just takes one little nudge to send it falling. But here's the good news. This is an easy fix. The next time you go for a walk, lift your chin and look straight ahead, about 10 to 15 feet in front of you. Let your shoulders relax and pull slightly back. Feel the difference as your spine aligns and your steps start to feel stronger and more stable. It may seem like a small change, but over time, it can rebuild your posture, restore your balance, and give you the confidence to move freely again. Here's the lesson. Looking ahead doesn't just protect your body, it reclaims your power. And speaking of power, there's another habit that drains your strength without you realizing it. Taking tiny, hesitant steps. Let's talk about what that does to your legs and how to fix it before it becomes a long-term problem. Have you ever noticed yourself taking smaller steps than you used to? Maybe you're not walking as quickly anymore, or your stride feels a bit shorter, a little more cautious, like your legs just don't have the same power they once did. If that sounds familiar, you're not alone. In fact, it's one of the most common walking patterns among people over 60, and one of the most harmful. Here's why. When you take short, hesitant steps, you're not engaging the full length of your leg muscles. Instead of powering through a natural stride, your hips, thighs, and calves are barely doing half the work. And what happens when muscles don't get used? They weaken. Slowly, steadily, quietly. It becomes a vicious cycle. You feel unsteady, so you take smaller steps, which makes your legs weaker, which makes you even more unsteady. That's how something as innocent as a shorter step can turn into a long-term mobility problem. I once met a man named Bill. He was 69, a retired firefighter, proud and independent. But over the years, his steps had gotten smaller. At first, he didn't notice. But one day, walking from his car to the front door left him completely out of breath. He told me, "I thought I was just getting older. Turns out I was walking myself into weakness." What changed things for Bill? He started paying attention to his stride. He made a simple commitment. Every day, take slightly longer, more confident steps. Nothing exaggerated, just enough to feel his legs working. And slowly, he began to feel stronger. His balance improved. Even his energy levels went up. So what can you do? Start by checking your steps. Are they short and flat? Are you shuffling instead of stepping? Then try this. Let your heel hit the ground first. Roll through the foot gently, then push off with your toes. This simple movement activates the full chain of leg muscles, calves, hamstrings, glutes. Your steps will feel smoother, stronger, and more natural. It's not about speed, it's about intention. Here's the takeaway. Every time you choose a stronger stride, you're not just walking, you're rebuilding. Now, while your legs do the moving, there's another part of your body that plays a huge role in keeping you steady, and most people completely overlook it. Let's talk about your arms and how keeping them stiff might be hurting your balance more than you think. Let me ask you something. When you go for a walk, what do your arms do? Are they swinging naturally at your sides or just kind of hanging there stiff and still? Maybe one's holding a phone or both are tucked in your pockets because of the cold. You might not think it matters much. After all, it's your legs that do the walking, right? But here's the thing. Your arms play a much bigger role than you think. When your arms don't move, your body loses one of its main tools for balance. Your legs end up working harder, compensating for that lost momentum. And over time, that extra work makes walking feel heavier, more tiring, less fluid. It's kind of like trying to row a boat with one paddle. Sure, you'll move, but it'll be a lot harder and you'll get off track. I remember a woman named Marlene, 63, always stylish, always with a handbag in one hand and her phone in the other. She came to a balance class one day and said, "I don't know why I feel so off when I walk. I used to move like a dancer." When we had her do a walking drill with both arms free and swinging naturally, her face lit up. She said, "That's it. That's what I've been missing." It turns out she'd spent years walking with her arms practically frozen, too focused on what she was holding to let her body move the way it was designed to. So here's what you can do. When you walk, let your arms move, naturally, gently. Keep your elbows slightly bent. As your right foot steps forward, your left arm should swing forward, and vice versa. It doesn't have to be exaggerated, just relaxed and rhythmic. You'll immediately feel lighter on your feet. Your steps will sync up, your core will engage, and your whole walk will feel smoother, more energized, and more natural. Here's the quiet truth. Walking is a full body movement, and your arms are part of the team. Now, speaking of rhythm and energy, there's one more habit that many people fall into without realizing. It might feel safe and comfortable, but it's secretly preventing your legs from staying strong. Let's talk about walking too slowly and why moving at a snail's pace might be doing more harm than good. Let's be honest. Slow walks can feel peaceful. You get outside, feel the breeze, maybe wave to a neighbor or two, and that's a beautiful thing. But here's a question most people never ask. Is your walk actually doing anything for your body? Or are you just coasting? Walking too slowly might feel safe and comfortable, especially as we get older. But when it comes to building strength, improving endurance, or protecting your balance, slow isn't always enough. Why? Because when you move too gently, your muscles aren't truly activated. Your heart rate stays low. Your legs aren't challenged. And when your body isn't challenged, even a little, it doesn't adapt. It doesn't grow stronger. I once worked with a man named Carl, 72, retired school principal, very disciplined. Every morning he'd walk the same flat path in his neighborhood at the same slow pace. He thought he was doing everything right. But one day after walking just 2 blocks uphill during a family trip, he was completely winded. His legs were shaking. He looked at me and said, "I walk every day. Why do I feel this weak?" The answer was simple. Carl wasn't walking too little. He was just walking too softly. His body had gotten so used to the slow stroll that it stopped getting stronger. It stopped adapting. Here's what I told him, and what I want to share with you too. You don't need to walk fast like a sprinter, but you do need to walk with intention. Aim for a pace that gets you slightly out of breath, but not gasping. You should still be able to carry on a light conversation, but feel your heart working and your muscles engaging. You can start small, try picking up the pace for just 2 minutes at a time, then return to your normal speed. Over time, your endurance will grow, and so will your strength. Here's the key idea to remember. Motion is good, but momentum is better. And while we're on the topic of momentum, there's another factor most people completely overlook when walking, yet it affects every single step you take. Let's take a closer look at what's happening under your feet and how the wrong pair of shoes can quietly sabotage your strength, posture, and progress. Let's talk about something most people never think twice about: your shoes. You put them on, tie the laces, and head out the door. Simple, right? But what if I told you your shoes might be quietly working against you every step of the way? It's easy to overlook. We tend to pick shoes based on comfort or habit, or maybe just because they've always worked. But here's the thing. If your shoes don't support your feet properly, your entire body pays the price. When shoes lack proper arch support, your feet flatten out and shift your posture. When they're too stiff, they prevent your feet from moving naturally. When they're too soft, they absorb too much impact. So your leg muscles don't engage the way they should. And when shoes are worn out, especially on the inside, you're walking on a broken foundation. I remember a woman named Teresa, 66, lively and full of energy, but she kept complaining about sore knees and lower back pain after her daily walks. She thought it was just getting older. But when I asked her how old her walking shoes were, she said, "Oh, I've had them for years. They still look fine." We checked the insoles and they were completely compressed. No support left at all. She was basically walking barefoot inside a shoe shell. She got fitted for a proper pair, nothing fancy, just something with solid arch support and a firm heel counter. And within a week, her pain began to ease. Her steps felt steadier. Her body wasn't fighting her shoes anymore. Here's the truth most people don't know. Shoes wear out from the inside out. Just because they still look okay on the outside doesn't mean they're doing their job. So what should you look for? A snug but not tight fit around the heel, good arch support, especially if you have flat feet or high arches, flexibility at the ball of the foot, but firmness at the heel, a wide toe box so your toes can spread naturally. And remember, replace your walking shoes about every 300 to 500 miles, or roughly every 6 to 12 months if you walk regularly. Your shoes are your foundation, and just like a house needs a solid base, so do your legs. Here's the takeaway. Strong legs start with smart shoes. Now, even with the perfect pair of shoes, there's one more thing that often gets ignored, and it has everything to do with the kind of ground you walk on. Let's explore why sticking to the same smooth sidewalks might be limiting your strength, and how a little variety can go a long way. Let me guess. When you go for a walk, you probably stick to the same familiar route. Maybe it's the sidewalk in your neighborhood, the path around the park, or even a treadmill at the gym. It's smooth, predictable, and safe. And that's not a bad thing, but it's not enough. Here's why. When you only walk on flat, even surfaces, your muscles aren't fully challenged. Your legs do just the bare minimum, and all those little stabilizing muscles, especially around your ankles, knees, and hips, never really wake up. And the less they're used, the weaker they become. Think about this. Walking up a small hill, stepping on grass, or moving across a gravel path all force your body to adapt. Your calves, glutes, and hamstrings have to fire harder. Your balance muscles, those ones that keep you steady when the ground shifts, get stronger. Your brain and body reconnect, learning how to respond quickly and efficiently to small changes underfoot. I remember a gentleman named Frank, 70 years old, proud of his daily mile on the treadmill. But anytime he went out with his grandson to play catch on the lawn, he felt unstable. One day he told me, "The grass makes me feel like I'm walking on marbles." We didn't tell him to stop using the treadmill, but we did encourage him to add variety. Twice a week, he started walking a trail with a few gentle inclines and patches of uneven ground. Within a month, he told me, "I don't fear the grass anymore. I feel in control again." That's the power of terrain training. And the good news is, you don't need to climb a mountain to get the benefit. Try this. Walk on a grassy area instead of the sidewalk. Use stairs instead of ramps when it's safe to do so. Even a slight hill in the neighborhood can add a challenge your muscles will thank you for. Here's the key idea. Strength doesn't just come from movement. It comes from movement that asks your body to adapt. Now, even if you're doing all these things right, walking with your head up, good stride, strong shoes, mixed terrain, there's one mistake that can still trip you up: not preparing your body before you even take the first step. Let's talk about what happens when we skip the warm-up and why just 3 minutes can make all the difference. We've all done it. You throw on your shoes, step outside, and just start walking. No prep, no stretch, just straight into the routine. It feels harmless, even efficient. But here's the truth. Starting a walk without warming up is like turning on a car and flooring the gas pedal. Your body needs time to wake up. Especially after 50, your muscles become less elastic and take longer to respond. If you skip the warm-up, you're more likely to experience tightness, slower reaction time, and worst of all, injury. I met a lovely woman named Carol, a retired nurse who prided herself on her daily walks. One chilly morning, she stepped right out of bed, grabbed her jacket, and went for a brisk walk to get it over with. 2 blocks in, she felt something pull in her calf. It wasn't dramatic, but it kept her off her feet for 2 weeks, all because her muscles weren't ready for the demand. She told me later, "I just didn't think warming up was necessary if I wasn't running. But walking, especially when done right, is exercise. And like any form of movement, it deserves a gentle introduction. So what's the fix? You don't need anything fancy. Just 2 to 3 minutes of light, purposeful movement can prepare your body for a better, safer walk. Here's a simple warm-up you can do anywhere. Ankle circles, 10 rotations each direction. Leg swings, front to back, 10 times each leg. March in place. Bring knees up gently, swing arms, 30-second shoulder rolls, forward and backward, 10 times each. These small actions increase blood flow, loosen your joints, and signal your nervous system that it's time to move. Here's the takeaway. A warm-up isn't a waste of time, it's a gift to your future self. And now that your body's moving better, stronger, and safer, there's one more mistake we need to talk about. Something subtle, often overlooked, but incredibly important. It's the way your feet are aligned with every step, and how poor foot placement can quietly wear down your knees, hips, and even your balance. Let's get into it. Most people don't think much about how their feet point when they walk. After all, you're moving forward, right? What could possibly be wrong? Well, a lot actually, because even a small misalignment in your foot placement, just a few degrees off, can throw your entire body out of balance. Over time, that adds up to strain on your knees, tension in your hips, and unnecessary pressure on your lower back. It's kind of like the wheels on a shopping cart. If just one is turned slightly off, the whole cart pulls awkwardly to one side. Now imagine that same imbalance, step after step, day after day, inside your own body. Here's what typically happens. Some people walk with their toes pointing outward like a duck. Others walk with their feet too close together, or even slightly turned inward. These small variations may not seem like a big deal until pain starts showing up in places you didn't expect. Take Joe, for example, an upbeat 68-year-old who loved walking around his local lake. But for months, he couldn't figure out why his right knee always ached after his walks. We had him walk across a clean floor barefoot. Sure enough, his right foot turned out about 15 degrees more than his left. That subtle outward angle was putting uneven torque on his knee joint, with every single step. The fix, awareness, followed by simple corrections. Joe started using a visual trick. He imagined walking along a narrow set of parallel train tracks. His feet had to point straight ahead, not out, not in, and stay about hip-width apart. Within a few weeks, not only did his knee feel better, but he told me, "I feel more centered, like my body finally knows where it's going." You can try the same test. Walk barefoot on a surface where you can see your footprints, or record yourself walking from behind. Notice the angles, notice the spacing. And when you walk, gently guide your toes to face forward, neutral and aligned. It might feel strange at first, but over time, it becomes your new normal. Here's the lesson. Good alignment isn't just about looking graceful. It's about moving with less pain, more purpose, and better long-term strength. Now that we've covered the 8 biggest walking mistakes, there's one last thing I want to share with you. It's not a mistake, it's an opportunity. Because walking isn't just something you do to stay active, it's something you can do with intention to strengthen, protect, and even transform your body. Let me show you exactly how. Now that we've covered the common mistakes people make when walking, let's talk about how to do it right, with intention. It's easy to think of walking as just a way to pass time or something you should do because it's good for you. But walking with intention, focusing on your form, your muscles, and your movement, can change everything. Think of it like this. You're not just walking, you're investing in your health, your strength, and your future. I had a conversation with a man named Tom. He's 75, still sharp as a tack, but had started to notice he was slowing down. One day he said to me, "I used to walk 5 miles every day without breaking a sweat. Now it feels like I'm dragging my feet." We worked together on a simple routine that incorporated all the tips we've talked about. Walking with a longer stride, engaging his arms, lifting his head, and focusing on alignment. But here's what made all the difference. He walked with intention. He didn't just go through the motions. He paid attention to his body with every step. And gradually his energy came back. His legs felt stronger. And instead of dreading his daily walk, he looked forward to it. Here's the routine we gave him, and you can try it too. Warm up, 2 to 3 minutes. Do a quick ankle circle, leg swing, and march in place. This gets your muscles ready and your blood flowing. The walk, 10 to 15 minutes. Start slow. As you pick up the pace, focus on these key points. Stride. Take longer steps. Heel to toe, not flat-footed. Arms. Let your arms swing naturally, don't stiffen them. Posture. Keep your head up, your shoulders back, and your chest open. Foot placement. Aim for straight, forward-facing feet. Cool down, 2 to 3 minutes. Slow your pace and take a few deep breaths. Stretch your calves, hamstrings, and shoulders gently. This helps release tension and keeps your muscles flexible. The goal here isn't to walk as fast as possible or to compete with anyone. It's to walk with purpose. Focus on the muscles you're engaging. Feel the power in your legs, the rhythm of your body, and the confidence growing with each step. The lesson here is simple, but it's powerful. Walking with intention is not just about moving your body, it's about reconnecting with your strength and vitality. And remember, it's not about doing everything perfectly. It's about being mindful. It's about showing up for yourself, one step at a time. As you continue this journey of walking with intention, I want you to remember this. Strength, balance, and energy aren't just given to you. They're earned through the choices you make, starting with something as simple as your walk. So the next time you step outside, don't just walk. Walk with purpose, walk with power, walk with intention, and keep moving forward. Because every step you take today is a step towards a stronger tomorrow. Tell us in the comments, what change are you going to make in your walking routine today? And if you found this helpful, don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more tips on staying active and healthy. Thank you for walking this journey with me. I'll see you out there, with each step full of strength and confidence.